Hello, everybody. This is Lisa Lilly, gifted and talented educator at St. Louis Park Middle School. Welcome to learning about our services at the middle school. So everything's a bit different than elementary. First of all, the criteria to qualify is different. At our middle school, it's based on NWEA scores, which is also known as MAP, Measures of Academic Progress. We take a look at the last 6 scores. And if your child is scoring 97 percentile or above in 3 of the last testing seasons, and one is in math and one is in reading, they will then get a letter in September. Mr. Bork, Mr. Bowl, and I will go over all the data together. And once that has been determined, we will send you a letter. As far as qualifying in middle school, we do review the data every single fall. And if your child didn't qualify in 6th grade, they may qualify in 7th grade and they will be invited to participate at that point. The other important item to know is once your student does qualify using the middle school gifted criterion, they will definitely be able to stay. Middle school is a time of great change, turbulence in emotions, and so on and so forth. And we do take that into consideration. So once they've qualified, they may remain as long as it works best for them. Sometimes students may feel a bit overwhelmed trying to come to GT class on top of their other classes, and they decide that they need to take a quarter off, and that's okay too. Gifted and talented classes are stress-free. It's meant to be a safe place to understand ourselves, to do some academic enrichments. And I'm also available to help students learn to do self-advocacy if they're struggling in a class or needing some help in creating some instead of projects versus on top of projects and working with a teacher. I am available for that as well. So there are no grades in GT that are academic based. The GT is grades on the report card or non-GPA, and they're based on some of our school-wide learning skills. So they don't need to worry about that added stress. Some of the items that we cover in social emotional learning may be about identity, understanding themselves in perspective. How do they view themselves? How do others view them? Understanding the complexity of their thinking and the brain structure. Developing emotional awareness, self-esteem, negative self-talk, conforming to others, trying to fit in when they don't fit in. And what does that mean for them? Coping with stress, procrastination, perfectionism. This year, some students told me they were having trouble sleeping at night due to that. So we covered that in GT class and how to help that. GT students have a strong sense of fairness and justice, and we talk about understanding that and understanding our differences and knowing who we can count on and so on and so forth. We cover everything from identity, stress, relationships, feelings, and 8th grade anticipating change in the future. As part of our academic enrichment, what I do offer to students is an umbrella of choice. And so they will have a chance to vote on what topics are most interesting to them. And that also comes from curriculum that is based on middle school students who have been identified as gifted and talented. Some of the popular units that have been selected in the past under Individuals in Society include our Supreme Court simulations, where we do as a class learn about a famous Supreme Court case. Then they have a choice of 4 different, very historically relevant Supreme Court cases, and they either are attorneys for either side or a judge, and we act it out after they research and create their briefs, which they love. Another one that was selected this past year was about power and politics in European history, starting with the Tudor reign. And so that was very interesting for them to take on those roles. Language and literature, Some of the students have selected to do multicultural book club projects, which are really good. In 8th grade, we do a literature unit on Dead Poet Society and the themes within that. We have options of writing mysteries or doing point of view writing. They've never been selected yet, but one never knows. Science, psychology of human memory is a really popular one. They love learning about mnemonics and understanding the complexity of how their brain is wired. And they also like doing a food science one. We have others they haven't selected yet on physics and the science of motion. In math, we always do some type of financial literacy before they leave middle school. This year we did Capitol Hill Challenge online stock market game. Last year we did a small business association in conjunction with junior achievement, and they learned about budgeting and debit and credit and how much salaries are and what college education costs and how to look for jobs. And they actually went on a field trip and got debit cards and had jobs and student debt and how much did childcare cost. And it was just really fascinating. They loved the hands-on science. In the past, we also created a mini golf course that was super fun for the kids, a bit stressful for me because there's a big mess until we get it created, but they loved it and they invited their parents in for our golf course when we did finish this. The other thing I do want you to know, as a gifted and talented teacher, I run an after-school club called Quiz Bowl. Quiz Bowl is a national trivia competition. Your child does not have to qualify for gifted and talented to compete. It will be our 3rd year. Last year and this year, we had teams that qualified for nationals, which is amazing. The interest and popularity of Quiz Bowl has tripled. We use a buzzer system like Jeopardy uses, and that begins in November and goes until May. We meet once a week after school, or this year it'll be before school. I'm sorry, our schedule's changing. But that's also, if your student doesn't qualify for gifted and talented and you want them to have some enrichment, Quiz Bowl is another option for you. Here's my phone number at school and my email address. If you've got any questions after watching this video, please feel free to reach out. I'm here for you. I'm here for their child, and I look forward to meeting you in person. Thanks so much for watching. Until I see you then, bye-bye.